And the next thing is you can then learn from your business. So you're like this, your business is going really well. Bit of imposter syndrome pops up and like, oh, I don't deserve that. But then it's like, I don't deserve that. My business does deserve it. And then slowly you start to see, I built that. I did that. I'm worth that. My clients say that I'm worth that. My reviews, my testimonials, my case studies all say that I am worth everything that I've built in that business. And so slowly over time, the two become slightly more aligned and they support each other and it's a little less rocky.
Today, we will be having Robin Waite. He is a business coach, keynote speaker. He is fabulous. Guess what? He has agreed to come and empower our community. And today we will be talking about how to eradicate self-doubt and increase your income in the life of entrepreneur. Well, friends, stay tuned to keep on watching. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, feel free to quickly do so you do not miss any content that we will be releasing on the Zora platform. So friends, keep on watching. Good morning to you, Robin.
Good morning.
Oh my God, it's so lovely to have you on board.
Oh, I'm super excited to be here. I can't wait to get started.
So firstly, can I say thank you very much for accepting our invite to come and empower our community. It means a lot.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Okay. So Robin, today you're here to talk about a specific topic. However, before you dive into that, I would like to welcome you to Elimj ChatShow platform, and thank you very much for coming on board.
My pleasure.
So in today's episode, we've got you in order for you to come and empower our community. And I know I've heard about lots of work which you do, and I've seen tons of work which you do. But before we dive into today's topic, I would love you to tell our audience more about yourself, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So well, first and foremost, I'm a husband and dedicated dad to two amazing, beautiful girls who are 8 and 6, and they keep me on my toes. And then professionally, I'm a business coach. I work with a lot of other coaches, consultants, and freelancers. My superpower is around pricing specifically. So I've had 20 years experience, and one of the things which I've learned over that time is that when you can master the power of your money mindset and price your products and services confidently, the world opens up very, very quickly. So my business is called Fearless Business. We typically run sort of short accelerators with our clients, business accelerators, ranging between 6 months and 12 months, bit of group work, bit of one-to-one work. And then obviously you can see behind me, I've got several books as well. So my first book was called Online Business Startup. That came out in 2000, and I've got to remember the right year now, 2014. It sold about 15,000 copies. I think it was a bestseller on Amazon for the best part of 3.5 years. So it's done incredibly well. And then my more recent book, Take Your Shot, came out about 5 years ago. That one's done pretty well as well, but it's a nice short story about one of the first sort of coaching clients which I've worked with. And hopefully, Ellie, I'll be saying a little bit later on about how people can get hold of a signed copy of that book as well.
Wow. Oh my goodness. You are packed of, let's say, is it tons of germs, lots of nuggets, but I would say thank you very much for the quick intro which you have just given to us here.
My pleasure. Yeah, I'm hoping, Ellie, that we're going to have lots of gems, lots of nuggets of information, lots of very practical tips that people can take away from today if they want to start earning money online or growing their business if they've already got one.
So, Robin, in today's episode, we want to talk about how to eradicate self-doubt in the life of entrepreneur. And I know you are a very successful entrepreneur, so I would love you to please share with us how we can deal with this issue here.
Yeah, most self-doubt comes from a place of fear. So hence the reason why the business was called Fearless Business in the first place was because for many small business owners, they just need to fear the things in business ever so slightly less that are going to stop them from achieving or is currently hindering them from achieving their goals. So, if you think about it, in the jungle, there's alligators and lions and things like that. There's genuine things to be afraid of, fearful of. But in the world of business, there's only generally two things that can go wrong in business. One is that you maybe look a bit stupid, which I'm not afraid of doing, because if I get my point across and it helps people, I don't care what I look like. And the second thing is you could potentially lose a bit of money. But the reality is, like, even that's not that bad, because you can always go out and get a job, start another business, find another creative way to make some more money, and get back on track. So, but fear is the thing which stands in the way of most people creating a successful life and business for themselves. So it could be fear of, well, I mentioned one, fear of looking stupid, maybe fear of failure, so losing money, or things not working out how they'd anticipated. I see a lot of business owners who set these really lofty goals and they actually don't do too badly. They get, like, you know, halfway towards those goals, and for most people that's exceptional, but they're like, oh, I failed because I haven't achieved that goal that I set out to achieve, because they told everybody about this wonderful ambition which they had for themselves or their business, their life, and they didn't quite get there. But actually most people are looking at going, wow, look how far you've come. So a lot of the fears are they're very much about how we think about external circumstances, how we think about how other people perceive us, how we compare ourselves to other people as well. And the best way to start to unlock some of that is to realize that, you know, and it's no secret, like, you know, most people, when they walk into a room, they're worried about what everybody else is thinking about what they look like, you know. But the reality is all of those people are worried about what they look like. They're not focused on you, you know. So we don't need to worry about anybody else except for ourselves, and be confident in ourselves. And when we start to be less attached to those outcomes and what other people think, we can really start to kick on and be more happy, be more confident, and do the things that we want to do in order to achieve the success that we want.
Oh, wow. Oh my God. I just said you are packed with tons of knowledge over here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And can I say thank you very much for sharing that nuggets with us here? Because I know, I mean, I've been around loads of entrepreneurs, and I've been, you know, been lucky to speak to tons, interview some people. So actually, even talking about that yesterday, similar thing. I went to see a lady yesterday. We were talking about, you know, how she can, you know, start something. So I mean, she's a very successful lady in terms of she's well educated, but there was something which she kind of have in her mind, fear of failure, which is
Yeah.
just something which I have come across along few other entrepreneurs, and same as me as well. Sometimes I suffer with fear of failure, and I mean, this is why we're connected, you know. So,
That's it. I mean, the thing is as well, like, fear of failure is the only thing most people, well, the only person who knows about that failure often is the person who is experiencing that feeling of failure. Often nobody else knows about it. So, like, we can be our own worst enemy. We can be, like, really hard on ourselves. And you know, like I said, we live in a really busy world, and most people are so focused on themselves, they don't really care about other people, like, in the nicest possible way. So we've got this really great environment where you can have a go. And failure's not the right word. I think failure is just an opportunity to learn from what didn't work out, and then apply whatever you learned to your next project, your next idea, your next thing that you're going to do. And, like, I prefer to, if I'm going to fail, I prefer to fail fast, because at least I learn quickly, and then I can pick myself up, dust myself off, and go again. And so we end up with this iterative process of improvement. So, like, there shouldn't be any fear about failure. It is just part of the process, especially in business. It is, think about, like, Dragon's Den and all of the, you know, the big entrepreneurs that we hear about out there in the media. The amount of times you hear that they've gone from millionaire to nothing, to millionaire to nothing, to millionaire to nothing, and here they are sat on Dragon's Den. Now, if you decided that a success factor was that, well, if they've gone bankrupt, they can't, who are they to be on Dragon's Den? Well, we wouldn't have those amazing 5 people sat in those chairs helping to support those business owners that are coming on. It's the fact that they have failed that makes them experts in their field, and that they've been able to grow these super successful businesses. And I think we should learn from that.
wow. Oh my goodness. Your energy is powerful as well. I love that.
I've got that Friday feeling, Ellie, that's why.
Thank you very much, Robin.
My pleasure.
I love what you've just shared, and I hope somebody out there finds it really useful. A quick question for you. You know, what would you say to a new entrepreneur that wants to start? What would be your best advice for the person?
Yeah, so a lot of entrepreneurs kind of, again, get in their own way, but I think on a very practical level, we're all taught to write business plans. We're all taught to, like, you've got to build the product, you've got to build the website, you've got to build the brand, you've got to do all of this stuff. And the last thing which they then do months and months and months later is then they then put themselves out there, whether it's in a networking group or Clubhouse or wherever it is. And then finally they start telling people about this amazing work which they do. So they get round to selling last. And I actually believe that when you come up with an idea for something, business or a project that you're working on, get out there and pitch it to people straight away. Like, you can sell the dream. And you think about the likes of Elon Musk, for example. Every product launch he's done, well, and they've done it with in Apple, for even twice as long as what Elon Musk has done with Tesla and SpaceX and things like that. But they put a prototype of their product out into the marketplace when they do their product launches, and a lot of the time they're not fully built, but they do it just to test and see whether people like the idea or not. So any business owner, they can just pitch an idea and they can sell it and then build later. Because think about it this way, if you, and again, most people are like, oh, I couldn't possibly sell something if I haven't built it. Well, that's rubbish. If somebody's going to pay 5K for something, for example, and you sell it to them, they love the idea, they think it's great, they think it can work for them, and they can see the value in it, and they hand over 5K for it. Well, now you've got 5,000 incentives to go and build an absolutely kick-ass product for them, right? So you can sell and then build. And even if it doesn't matter how big or small that sale is, it could be £10, £5,000, 10 million, I don't care. Just get out there and start selling. Otherwise, like, learning sales is like one of the most critical skills in business, because that's the thing which brings the cash in. And then once you've got the cash, you can then start to do stuff with it.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I that does resonate with me, what you've just shared over here. Learning sales. Now you have just spoken. What is the best way to learn sales? Because there is this, you've just mentioned, there is this thing out there that you have to build your brand, you have to do this, you have to have a website, blah blah blah, and we get to start to sell later, which is the same thing applicable to me. I always believe, making things perfect before I start talking about it. Because normally I'm a private person. I like to kind of like, hold back a little bit. But sometimes it could have a long-term effect on one's business, which is what you've just talked about now. So my question to you is, what would be the best way for somebody to learn how to sell?
So the best way, well, first of all, just to get out there and start practicing it. So go to a networking meeting, and somebody is bound to ask you, what do you do? And then you just say, tell them about what the thing is, the idea is that you've got. So it could be, I used to run a marketing agency, so I'm most familiar with sort of web design, for example. So if you're technically minded and you're thinking you'd like to build websites for other business owners as a business, go to a networking meeting and then say, hi, I'm Robin, I'm a web designer. We help small business owners to build brochure style websites to promote their business. That is the first step in the process, because there's somebody in that room who'll go, oh, I'm a small business owner. My website's either out of date or doesn't exist. Yes, I'd be interested to have a conversation. Most people think that sales is about manipulating people into buying products they don't necessarily want. It's not at all. It's completely the opposite to that. It's taking people who are already warm to the idea of the thing which you do, and showing them, providing them with confidence in your ability to deliver those results. Yeah. So if you're confident you can do it, just get out there and tell people you can do it, and do it from a place of value. So go out there and help them. Just have a conversation, help them, give them tips and advice as best you can. And at some point they'll probably say, do you know what, this sounds really interesting, I'd like to work with you. Now, in any of that part, is there any forced selling or persuasive techniques or anything like that? No, it's just speaking to people and talking about what you do. It's that simple. There are times though when, if, for example, if you're, and we've had conversations about pricing and money and starting to charge more for your products or services, that's where you've got to start to learn slightly different techniques, because now it might be that the price you want to charge is more than you're comfortable with, right? And I say that purposefully, not the client. The client might be happy to pay that, and that's fine, but you might have an issue with, you know, doubling, trebling, quadrupling your prices, if then that's what your business needs for you to make a good solid income from your business. So it's at that point we then switch into, well, sales isn't about selling, it's about your money mindset, your own internal value system. And are you confident that the value you're going to deliver equals that amount of money that you just said out of your mouth to that potential client? Yeah. So it's more about confidence. And then practically, if as a practical kind of step, you know, just get interested, curious around sales and how a sales conversation should go. There are tons of podcasts out there from sales experts, you know, giving away free sales techniques. There's tons of books out there, like Grant Cardone has got a book called Sell or Be Sold, which is a fantastic book if you want to get really excited about sales. And he's this brash American, you know, Midwest American guy, you know, and done all sorts of different things. But it's, you know, the way he does it makes sales accessible. It makes you feel like, oh, I could do that. Like, I can do that confidently. But podcasts, any videos that you can find, books that around sales, just get really curious and learn about. And I say this about all aspects of business, whether it be sales, marketing, finance, you know, the systems and processes in your business, how you deliver it. You need to be at least a little bit interested in every one of those functions in your business. Otherwise, I believe you shouldn't really call yourself a business owner. So the amount, like, here's just one example, and then I'll stop rambling on. But the amount of people, when it comes to their finances and accounts in their business, they go, oh, I'm not a numbers person. Now, I'm going to be blunt, that's an excuse, right? If you're a business owner, it is your responsibility to understand at least enough about the numbers in your business to be able to then delegate it to an accountant confidently, knowing that when you give that responsibility to them, they're going to do a good job of it, you know, so far as your business is concerned. You've got to eradicate those sorts of excuses and just get out there and start doing it and be interested in each part of it.
Wow. I am speechless.
That's not like you, Ellie.
I know. You know, each time you speak, and you know, as you speak, is the same methodology I found in your book, which we're going to talk about later. I love when you speak. Honestly, when you talk, it's like, you know, glory of nuggets popping out, wisdoms, something powerful. So I really love it, Robin.
Thank you. I'm deeply passionate about business and helping small business owners especially to succeed. The amount of times people have sort of said to me, oh, Robin, you'd be great if you went and worked in corporates and bigger businesses and stuff like that. It doesn't float my boat. I love grassroots business. I love seeing people go from like zero to hero in whatever niche or field which they choose, that's something which they're passionate about, and they can start to make a living from it, because it's that living which is the most important part of business. It's about the freedom and fulfillment that we get, not just the financial side of it. You know, and big businesses, like they're like oil tankers. They're hard to turn. You know, they've got a lot of very stuck and stubborn people in them. Whereas when you get an excitable small business owner who is, all they want to do is just have a successful small business and live the dream, you know, that lights my fire.
Wow. Thank you very much for that, Robin. And, you know, there is one thing which we have just talked about, which is quite, you know, is pertaining to the topic which you're talking about. In terms of your pricing, you know, when your self-doubt still keep on holding you back in terms of your pricing, how would you say one should handle such issue?
Yeah, well, first of all, you've got to understand just a little bit of the sort of psychology around money and pricing, because we have our own internal value system, and that has generally been sort of emblazoned on our brains from a very young age. Normally sort of between the ages of about 4 to 7 is when we're most impressionable. So think about the people in our lives that had the greatest influence on us between the ages of 4 and 7. It's mum and dad typically, our parents. And if they spent a lot of their time arguing over money and telling you that money doesn't grow on trees, and that, oh, you can't have those trainers because we can't afford them, and we're not going on holiday this year because we don't have enough money, and mum works so hard, that's why you don't get to see her at the weekends, and all of this stuff, then all of the associations around work and money and things like that, they're quite negative, albeit you can't see that for a very long time. So then when you as a grown-up then decide, right, I'm going to go and start a business, in your 20s and 30s and beyond, now you've got all of this negativity kind of built up around money and everything else. So when you come to conversations where you have to essentially ask the client, invite the client to work with you, and then hand over some money, like it's normally a big reflection. How we buy things is a very close reflection on how we sell things. So again, if you've been brought up around scarcity because of your parents or whatever that your circumstances were in your formative years, then as you grow up and you start buying things, if it comes from a place of scarcity and you're constantly telling, oh, I can't afford that nice coat or that pair of shoes I want, or that, whatever it is. And I know those are very capitalistic things, but they're easy things for us to see and imagine, or even down to like buying a house and things like that. And you kind of rein yourself back all the time around money. Then when it comes to business, when you then got to sell it, it's reflected. So when you understand that, though, it becomes a little bit easier. Because there's actually two bodies involved in your business. There is you and there's your business, right? You can be as wobbly as you like around money and value and everything else. Then you've got your business, which really the one thing your business needs feeding is money. That's its lifeblood, its life force. Okay, and if your business isn't profitable, it's not going to last particularly long. So it needs a reasonable amount of money in order to survive so that it can grow and prosper. So if now your business and you are closely aligned and you're having a wobble over money, you see what impact it's having on the business has wobbles over money. So if you can detach from that and your business has a nice solid base, you're comfortable feeding your business lots of money and asking for it, you can be as wobbly as you like over money. Your business is solid, stable, it's going to prosper. And then the next thing is you can then learn from your business. So you're like this, and your business is going really well. Bit of imposter syndrome pops up, and like, oh, I don't deserve that. But then it's like, I don't deserve that. My business does deserve it. And then slowly you start to see, I built that. I did that. I'm worth that. My clients say that I'm worth that. My reviews, my testimonials, my case studies all say that I am worth everything that I've built in that business. And so slowly over time, the two become slightly more aligned and they support each other, and it's a little less rocky.
Wow. Thank you very much for that share, Robin. That is really, really insightful. Honestly, I love it. I have another question for you. If you were to start again, or should I say, what would you wish you had known being an entrepreneur like you're starting? What would you say, oh, these are the things I wish I had known when I started?
So, I look back to my first proper year in business. I did bunny ears there because it's like I had side hustles for a number of years, but my first proper year in business was in 2004. And so close to 20 years ago now, me and my business partner started up our web design and branding business. And in our first year, get this, Elizabeth, we made £8,000 each. Wow. That's not bad, actually, starting out. That's pretty cool. Like, thinking about it, it's not many business owners that do, even as well as that. But £8,000, but we worked like dogs. We worked so hard for that money, and did everything that we were told we had to do. And gradually over the years, I started to learn more and more about pricing and confidence and sales and the money mindset and all of the things which I know now. And the one thing which I wish I'd done, way back when at the start, was charge market rate. I thought that the way to get business in 2004 was to undercut people. and we worked so hard, and we made some money out of it, but we weren't really that profitable. And actually, over the years, I've now realized that, there is one person that has to be the most expensive in the market. So figuring out a way to be the most expensive in the market is the key to success in business. Whether it requires a bit of innovation around your products or services that you're selling, it may need lots of social proof, testimonials, case studies, and reviews to show the quality of your work. It may just require a bit of training, coaching, somebody to push you in order to get up there. But if we were the most expensive in the market in 2004, I'm not sure whether I would be working today because I love what I do, but my life would be quite different now. And if we'd done 100K in that first year instead of 8K, and it purely comes down to pricing, how much we were charging. We were very good at what we did back then, but we didn't know it at the time, and we just were misinformed about how much we should charge and why. So I definitely put the prices up massively, get that abundance into the business much faster. And then I've got skin in the game. You have to then, if you're charging more, you've got to deliver the results.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you there. I love, when you're delivering services, you must go extra mile, to deliver.
100%, absolutely.
Thank you very much for that share. I now have another question for you. And the question is, what are the problems you think, young entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs are facing, or that is holding them back?
So I'm going to come at this from a practical level. I mean, we talked a lot about the mindset side of things, but from a practical level, I think young entrepreneurs spend way too much time around social media and seeing people make really, really quick wins. And living the lifestyle. So they see Lamborghinis and nice watches and all of this stuff. And I think young entrepreneurs kind of see it as they have to make all of their money right now, and then live. It's what's the phrase? It's work hard, play hard, and spend all the money and live the lifestyle. And actually, it just if you then get to 30 years old and effectively you've got no cash in the bank, what was the point in the last decade of running a small business, right? So I see phases of businesses come through, and there's no judgment here. It's just that at the moment, you're seeing a lot of what we call FBA businesses, Amazon businesses pop up, drop shipping businesses. We see a lot of crypto, wannabe, kings out there and queens out there. And these are all fads. They come and go very, very quickly. And I think if more entrepreneurs saw that business and entrepreneurship is a long game, and it's a long game, not just of making money, but also investing that money and setting yourself up for the future. I wish I'd known this when I was in my 20s, setting up that first business in 2004, because if I had been more sensible with the investments that I'd made over, through my 20s, I could have had better choices now where I could be retired, or maybe my wife doesn't have to work, or things like that, and because I didn't see it as a long-term gain at that point. I thought, make money, retire, get £1 million, and then that's it, buy your freedom sort of thing. And it doesn't work like that. It's just, so you've got to find, and the thing is as well, if you want to play a long-term game, you've got to find something you're passionate about, right? Because if you're doing it for the money and you make some money, you're going to feel empty a year or two down the line. And then what are you going to do? You're going to do something else, do it for a year or two, make some money. You're going to keep on repeating the same mistake. And then all of your mates are going to look at you and go, you're like a chameleon. You keep on shape shifting, doing lots of different businesses. And they'll call you names oh, you're like Del Boy. Do you remember Only Fools and Horses, Yeah. And they're joking, but there's some truth in that. And actually, would it not look better if you chose something you're passionate about, that you can get great results for those clients for, and make a decent living, and just stick at it and do it for the long term?
Wow. Oh my goodness. It's like this should go on forever. Like this talk, this chat should go on forever. Well, thank you very much for that, Robin. My other question quickly for you before the time, fly by, is how would you say young entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in general can avoid burnout?
So a lot of entrepreneurs end up kind of getting very, like, business and entrepreneurship can be very addictive. So they end up working all hours under the sun, again, because of their beliefs that their family left them with, you know, they inherited that we got to work hard in order to make a living. So they work all hours and they see this like hustle culture and the 5 a.m. club and all this stuff. Can I say this? Like, a lot of that is bullshit, right? There's 3 things that are important in business: fulfillment, freedom, and finance. Keywords there are fulfillment and freedom. You know, if you're working like 60, 70, 80-hour weeks, like non-stop, you are eventually just going to get tired and burn yourself out. You're also going to leave yourself feeling very unfulfilled. And the likelihood is you're working all of those hours because the money's not there. So you just need to interrogate that, question it a little bit, and just go, actually, what do I want out of life for me? So I know now that the number of hours that I can work in a day and each week are limited. I have an energy threshold that I can work to. 2 coaching sessions a day and I'm done. That's it. I don't need to work any more than that. You know, and periodically I need to make sure that, you know, I take most Fridays off typically, or I do fun stuff like this on a Friday because it, you know, it doesn't. I'm energized. It fills me up. Or I'll go and jump on my surfboard or get the bike out of the garage and go for a bicycle ride because that's what fulfills me and gives me the freedom that I want. You know, so entrepreneurs need to build, and it's not work-life balance, right? That again is bollocks. It's complete and utter rubbish. Apologies for the language, but it's rubbish. Like, it's work-life balance shouldn't exist. It should just be about balance. How happy am I as a person? Do I get enjoyment working with the clients that I get to work with? Are they paying me my worth so that I don't have to live a frugal lifestyle, but I can afford to pay for my lifestyle that I want to create for myself? And when you're fulfilled in those sorts of areas and you have that desired freedom, you know, there's no need to burn out. You're not gonna, you know, you shouldn't have to burn out. You just make sure you make the time for you.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I love your share. Thank you very much for that. Quickly, before I let you go, I wanted to quickly dab in with, you know, probably under 1 minute, like, what is the difference between coaches and mentor? And would you recommend entrepreneurs invest in them?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Like, and there's the simple difference between a coach and a mentor. A coach will typically ask you lots of questions. They'll interrogate you. If you bring beliefs to the conversation, they'll just ask you whether that's a true belief or not, or whether there's an alternative way to look at it. So, a coaching relationship is very client-led. A mentor, though, on the other hand, and I know this is, you know, I probably do a little bit of both actually during my sessions, but a mentor typically is maybe 10 years ahead of where you are now. So they've lived it, done it, experienced it, got the t-shirt. And more often than not, a mentor will probably just tell you like what to do. So it can be a much more direct approach. And mentors tend to be much more sort of inspiring. And coaches, though, in my view, because of the way they ask their questions, they should equip you with like lifelong skills that will enable you to make better decisions for yourself. The only downside sometimes I find to mentoring is that if you tell somebody how to do it, they don't often learn like the life skills which they need to do it doesn't last a lifetime, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for that. And quickly, before I let it go, if people really want to know more about you, because I'm quite sure like people will be dying, like people will want to like know more about Robin, where can people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So LinkedIn's probably the best place to connect with me on social media. So I run a weekly newsletter on there called Coaching Business Success, which is just general business success tips and things like that. Lots to learn. So they can just go and search for me, Robin Waite, and I'm sure you'll probably share a link. And then I've got a little gift as well for your listeners and viewers as well today. So my book, Take Your Shot, I've got a handful of copies ready to sign and post out. So if somebody would like a signed copy of Take Your Shot, and it's got the book, it's a really short book. It's a story about one of my first coaching clients that I worked with 6 years ago, a guy called Russ, who was really struggling with his business and how he turned it around. And it's a short read as well, only a couple of hours, but it's got 5 really simple, practical, like business frameworks in there which people can apply pretty much straight away to their business, and away they go. So I've got to do my weather girl impression here, Elizabeth. So there it is. Take your shot. If they go to fearless.biz/TYS, so that's lowercase TYS for take your shot, I will sign a copy, pop it in the post personally, and then they can enjoy reading it.
Wow, thank you very much, Robin. You are magical. And I have gone through your book, which is really, really good. So I found a quick line over here, which firstly, I enjoy the storyline, how you worked your journey. And I think the journey does resonate with me. It's which is on page 69, line 10 to 17. So over there, you talked about how you felt when you first got your £595. So in a quick word, how did you feel when you got your first payment of that?
Oh, I've had, because I've been on my second business now, and actually it's probably too long ago to remember when I got my first payment in my web design business. But certainly in the coaching business, when there was something very intentional about the way that I set up the coaching business, because I'd learned for 12 years with my agency, pivoted, and I had all of the fear and the worries and concerns that everybody else would have starting a new project. And the first time I stood up and did a talk, somebody said, "Cool, I would love to work with you. How much is it?" And the money hit my bank, but it was done through like being intentional. Okay, so I had designed I spent 3 months designing my coaching program, figuring out who I wanted to help, how I was going to help them, what sort of results they could expect, how long the process should take, and things like that. And I fixed the price, knowing now everything that I know about pricing. I'd fixed the price. It was going to be £1,500 then for 6 months worth of coaching. And when the client said yes without hesitation, and the money hit my bank like later on that afternoon, it was like, I designed it. It was intentional. It felt amazing. It felt right. And it's something to celebrate.
Wow. Thank you so much for your share. I really, really love your share. And I would love to say thank you very much for coming to Elimj Chat Show, for coming to empower our community. You've done really well. And hope to see you next time.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's session. If you have any question for me or for Robin, feel free to leave it below in the chat box, and I shall take it from there. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, feel free to do so right away so you do not miss any content that we will be releasing on this very platform. So friends, do you have a pleasant day, and hope to see you in our next episode. Cheers. Bye.